All right, guys, this is part two to Michael Jordan is the GOAT, featuring the great YouTuber Jxmy Highroller. The first video, cut off because we up here in the mountains. So let's just continue this. This is going to be shorter than the first. This is Jxmy Highroller speaking on behalf of the great Michael Jordan.
Respectively. And before we continue, let's learn about one of the rarest feats in NBA history. Leading a team to a championship while leading the league in scoring. When you exclude Michael Jordan, here is the entire list of every player to ever accomplish this feat. Did you get that? Not a lot of players. Excluding Jordan, only 4 players in history have ever led the league in scoring and won a championship in the same season.
Okay, guys, I hope that registers with you guys. Meaning that most of the time, when you have a guy, say like James Harden, or Kevin Durant, and they lead the league in scoring, usually that's at the expense of their teammates that are not involved in the flow of the offense. So usually when you get to the playoffs, all you have to do is focus on that one guy, take him off his game, and the team loses. But the problem with MJ was nobody was ever able to take him off of his game, and he even scored even more in the playoffs.
Now I'm going to show you what this list looks like when you include Michael Jordan. Yeah. Michael Jordan has led the league in scoring and won a title in the same season more than every single player in the history of the NBA combined.
And that's again because usually when you have a 7-game series or a 5-game series, the coach can scheme against the best players, like they do to Giannis. And Giannis doesn't have an answer because he doesn't have much of a game outside of the paint. But with MJ, he could score from all over the court. You couldn't game plan to stop him. The only team that was even semi-successful was the 80s Bad Boy Pistons.
Now, Michael Jordan was raised in North Carolina, but was actually born in Brooklyn, New York, possibly one of the greatest birthplaces for NBA players. Of all,
Is Brooklyn in the house? Famous words by the great Notorious B.I.G.
all the NBA players born in Brooklyn, 10 have been inducted into the Hall of Fame, 19 became All-Stars, totaling a staggering 26 league championships won. In fact, you could make a formidable team with just Brooklyn-born players.
If you give me 20 seconds, I'm going to tell
Excuse
you
me, folks.
a handstand coach.
But once Michael's family moved to North Carolina, the rest is history. Like at Laney High School, where Michael Jordan did his best Oscar Robertson impersonation when he averaged a 29-point triple-double as a senior in high school. And I guess you could say MJ was...
Once again, guys, to understand this full video, this part 2, please watch part 1 of this video series. Only 2 parts, but this part is way shorter than part 1, all right? Please watch part 1 first, then continue to this part 2.
pretty good at getting a bucket in the NBA too, since in his 13 seasons with the Bulls, Michael Jordan won nearly as many scoring titles as every single active NBA player combined. Think about that. All active NBA players have a combined 11 scoring titles. Jordan amassed 10 in 13 seasons by himself. Most fans are aware that Michael Jordan was a huge supporter and friend of Kobe Bryant. But what some people don't know is that Jordan was also a huge fan of Allen Iverson.
Okay, there's a lot of you Allen Iverson haters out there. I'm going to do a video on Allen Iverson probably before the week is out. Okay, because a lot of guys, namely like Skip Bayless on FS1, likes to harp on the fact that Iverson was just some selfish gunner that ignored his teammates and jacked up shots. And that's the farthest thing from the truth. If you look at that 76er team that he dragged to the finals against the Lakers, I believe it was in the year 2000 or 2001, that was a team barely better than a YMCA squad. All right? Allen Iverson is one of the greatest players this game has ever seen.
Jordan said that he watched Allen Iverson's documentary 3 times and that it even made him cry, saying, quote, "I love that little guy." And speaking of guys that Jordan has an appreciation for, one of the unsung heroes throughout Michael's career was his trainer, Tim Grover. Tim was so obsessed with making sure that Mike was in peak physical condition that he would go back and watch each and every one of Mike's games and count how many steps he took while on the court and which direction his steps were taken to ensure that he knew where Mike would be sore, how his body felt, and what regiments to complete in the following day.
Are you guys paying attention? Are you listening to all of y'all that think like Jimmy the Greek, that Michael Jordan is the descendant of slaves, and that's why he's got extra muscles in his in his back and in his legs that make him jump so high? Pure foolishness. Yes, he was genetically gifted, but don't discount the hard work, okay? A lot of you guys in the Larry Bird reverse discrimination video that I posted want to point out to Larry Bird's practice and his work ethic. Nobody worked harder than Mike, all right?
Which in the long run saved Jordan's body from potentially career-ending falls like this. The footage used in the Last Dance documentary was sitting around, unused and unseen for years because Michael Jordan refused to give permission to release the tapes. That is, until the Cleveland Cavaliers won the 2016 NBA championship. On June 22nd, 2016, the exact day of the Cavs championship parade, Michael Jordan finally agreed to do the documentary.
And this is where I'm going to end Jimmy's video. I thank Jxmy Highroller once again for providing excellent content. All right, but I'm going to take it from here. The reason why he finally agreed to release the Last Dance documentary is because LeBron James started parading around as the GOAT. He tried to leapfrog himself over Michael Jordan, Magic Johnson, Larry Bird, Julius Erving, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, and Bill Russell by claiming that because he beat the 73-9 Golden State Warrior dynasty team in a come-from-behind effort I believe it was 7 games, that automatically made him the GOAT. Pure nonsense, pure marketing hype to boost LeBron's, star power in today's game. LeBron is great. This is not a bash LeBron video. This is not a bash Larry Bird video. But neither one of those guys were better than MJ. Okay, that's just the bottom line. LeBron, if he had to go head-to-head against Michael Jordan, I'm not going to say he was shaking his boots and cower in fear, but he would really get a chance to see who the greatest is, especially down the stretch, late in games, when Michael Jordan was just icy. So was Larry Bird, and so was Magic Johnson. All right? Now, I'm not going to go as far as to say that LeBron James doesn't have the clutch gene like Skip Bayless. I don't know that such a thing exists as a clutch gene. I think that's just some made-up shit. But I know for a fact that he wasn't as icy as Jordan. He wasn't as ruthless as Larry Bird and Magic Johnson as far as looking to cut your heart out and win basketball games and championships. Okay, so LeBron James is not the GOAT. Very good, very great player. Sometimes I fluctuate him in and out of my all-time starting 5. Sometimes I have him